Well, good Wednesday morning and welcome to another episode of Martin's Koi Pond. Although it's not a particularly good Wednesday morning because you can possibly make out there's a green tinge in the water and that all the fish are on the bottom. Now the reason for that is yesterday I was looking at the fish and noticed two of them, especially Bobby, my biggest kahaku there in the middle of the screen at the minute. Really mucusy. He's got a big patch of white mucus at the base of his tail and a big area of mucus on his shoulders. And there was another one with a bit of mucus, Splodge, the big Sankey, which had visible mucus as well. Now I've had Tank, the ex-Tancho, sulking over by the pumps in the corner there for 2 days now with clamped fins. So I had Bobby out and gave him a scrape, but the electric digital microscope thing I bought off eBay as a joke, I just can't see anything on it. So I've ordered a much better quality one, using my birthday money and money that was going to go on covers that's now not going on covers. And I decided to treat with the Alpha X, which I've got, because that's a good broad spectrum anti-parasite. The only thing I would say about my microscope is if it had been flukes, because of the size of flukes I would have seen them, but I've got a strong suspicion that what I've got is Costia. The excess mucus and sitting on the bottom with clamped fins are, as well as symptoms as other things, are definitely symptoms of Costia. So with the Alpha X, I had enough for 2 treatments, which is what you need. So I should be treating again later. And I'm not going to feed the fish for 2 or 3 days. Say they're all sat on the bottom, feeling sorry for themselves. And then we nearly had an absolute disaster. The wife brought the puppy out to have a wee break at about 8 o'clock last night. She comes running in. One of your fish has jumped out of the pond, and Harriet the Harawaki laid on the slate on the far side of the pond, and she was starting to dry up, so she'd been out quite a while. But I put her back in and she's absolutely fine. In fact, she's just sat down here. So I assume she jumped out because of the medication in the water. So I might put my net on tonight after I do the second treatment, just in case she jumps again. So yeah, that's where we are. So a bit of an update, and looks like we've got a parasite. Get back to you in a bit. Good Wednesday afternoon, and it is a good Wednesday afternoon because Tank, the fish that had been sat on the bottom since Sunday afternoon with clamped fins and not looking very well at all, is out and about and active. That little fish there, just between me and the silver ball, the little one, that's Tank. Was a Tancho, now it's a black and white fish. And also all the fish are looking, to my eye, a lot happier. Now the treatment went in about 6 p.m. last night, and with Alpha-X you do a second treatment after 24 hours. So hopefully I made the right diagnosis and the Alpha-X is getting to the root of the problem. Certainly Tank especially is a different fish today. Now obviously I'm going to put some more medication in soon, and that's going to throw them all on the bottom again. But just for an hour or so I'm sitting in my fishing shelter in the rain with a pint, enjoying the fish. And Harriet the Harawaki, she's there, showing no negative signs that I can see for her being out on land for however many minutes it was and thrashing around on the slate path. I was expecting to see some wounds or some blooded fins or something, but she looks absolutely fine. So I think I dodged a bullet there. So I'll be back to you in a bit when I do the second treatment. Well, welcome back. It's Wednesday evening, and I'm really sorry guys, but I forgot to film me putting in the second treatment of Alpha-X. But you can see the result. Now, the water is very green, and I'm about to stick my heron net over because I had a jumper last night and I don't want to have one jumping out tonight. So let's get that heron net on. Right, welcome back. So the net is on. Don't think I've used it since July. So at the minute it's only on tonight to stop any potential fish jumping out, after I had one jump out last night. So let's see how things are tomorrow. Back to you in a bit. Well guys, I bit the bullet and bought a proper microscope. So in future when I do scrapes I won't be struggling with the digital thing I bought. I got this off eBay. It was £72 I believe on offer. Really excited to use it, but obviously the fish have been treated and come through the other side, so I don't really need to use it at the minute. But it looks a proper bit of kit. So just a quick look at the tank in the lounge. Simon the Midas cichlid and Sam his girlfriend getting on like a house on fire. The tinfoil barb dither fish are doing a good job of keeping his aggression focused away from her. So hopefully we might get a spawning soon. I've had Simon 7 years, so, and only recently obtained a female for him. So fingers crossed he finally gets to make babies. Catch you in a bit. Good Saturday morning. Well, you find me in the middle of my Saturday maintenance. I've just took a load of water out of the pond and I'm now topping it back up. The pipe is still going from the pressure filter to my waste. A little bit of bad news on the fish front. A couple of people asked yesterday when I put last week's video up, how was Tank doing, the Tancho? Well, he was doing fine. He'd even been eating again. But I woke up this morning to find him dead on the bottom of the pond, and I think looking at him, the reason for his death is quite obviously bacterial, I would suggest. Looks like it's even eaten the flesh away at the back here. So what I'm going to do is 2 or 3 water changes to get all the Alpha X out of the pond, and then put in a general bacterial treatment I've got, just to make sure that the other koi don't get infected. None of the other koi are showing any negative situations. Bobby did have that excess mucus, but that seems to have calmed down. And I guess the Alpha X, because it's got acroflavin in, probably gave Tank a bit of relief from the bacteria. But then as the effectiveness of the Alpha X wore off, the bacteria appeared to have taken over again and taken poor Tank's life, unfortunately. Bit of a minor setback. But hopefully I'll find another Tancho next year to replace him. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with maintenance. As you can see, it's raining as usual because it's a weekend. Catch you in the next clip. Well, good Saturday afternoon, and the pond is nearly refilled from this morning's water change. Just been sitting here with a cup of tea, chilling, watching a few videos on YouTube, and reflecting on what I found on my dead fish. So I scraped Tank and used the brand new Microscope, and what a difference, excellent bit of kit. I could see right down to the single cell level, and I could see clearly, and it was easy to adjust, easy to focus. Just so much better than the piece of junk that's now in the dustbin. So, what did I find? Well, I didn't find a lot, which still makes me point towards bacterial being his cause of death. But I did find 2 alive flukes. Now, flukes aren't affected by the Alpha X treatment. So I ran my koi dealers for some advice, and they've suggested leaving it another week, perhaps having Bobby back out again because he's got that mucousy area by his tail. Re-scrape Bobby and have a look to see if he's got flukes on him, and then if he has, treat for flukes, because I need to give it a couple of weeks for the Alpha X to get out of the system. I mean, I was doing a trickle in, trickle out yesterday, and I've done a fairly big water change today to try and get rid of some of it. The good thing about Alpha X is, though, it does help with biological. So that is probably why, bacterial infections, and that is probably why Tank perked up for a couple of days. But when you saw all those lesions on his fins and tail and area of skin eaten away, I just think he was too far gone for any meds to have helped, to be honest. So, that being said, all the rest of the fish look fine, so I will just monitor them and see if they show any sign of flukes, but at the minute they are not. So it might just be that, this is what the koi dealer suggested as well, that Tank being in a vastly weakened state due to the bacterial infection was more susceptible for flukes. But my core dealer says finding just 2 is not a lot, even though he said they tend to leave a dead host fish. He hadn't been dead long, I don't think, when I found him this morning. So I'll wind this clip up here and catch you in the next one. Well, good Saturday afternoon, and while there's a lull in the weather, I thought I would put the finishing touches to this week's video together. I finally sorted the rocks out next to the box filter and tweaked the whole of that far right hand corner and this near right hand corner out. So pretty much everywhere now you have the rocks touching the water. A little bit of liner visible at that end, but it's only a little. So I think we are pretty much in our final position as far as the rocks go. Now, as you can see, the water is lovely and crystal clear. Koi are moving around a little bit. They had a tiny bit of food earlier, but they didn't want much. Well, I'm sitting at this different angle because I've done that over the summer and we want the grass to recover there. So during the winter months I'm going to be sat at slightly different angles at times when I'm out here recording. Anyway, that just about wraps this week's up. Next weekend we'll be having Bobby out for a scrape, and if we find flukes, treating for flukes. But until then, happy ponding.